Prospect 1.
Arizona Diamondbacks.
The Arizona Diamondbacks top 10 starts with John Duplantier at number 1, Pavin Smith, number 2, number 3, Dalton Varsho, number 4, Marcus Wilson, number 5, Jazz Chisholm, number 6, Drew Ellis, 7, Christian Robinson, 8, Anthony Banda, 9, Taylor Clark, and number 10, Wildred Patino. That is your top 10 for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and I'll bet even Bogman has a bit of who? Who are all those guys?
A couple of them. Let's see. Okay, here's guys that I haven't heard of because I usually follow this fairly closely.
Are you looking at the top 10, or are you going
Christian Robinson? Was he a recent draft pick, or was he a sign?
He was their top pick in the international class. So they signed him. He was a top he was inside the top 30 on everybody's international ranks, but he was probably like top 15, and the Diamondbacks were able to get Robinson. And then Wildred Patino, who you probably don't know.
Is this Rick Patino's son?
No, it's not. He was a late international guy. So,
16.
Yeah, dude. The big wave of guys wwho signed, he was not part of it.
You're double that guy's age.
I'm more than double that guy's age.
I know.
It's actually really depressing, to be honest with you. But Patino, he didn't sign until months later, and the Diamondbacks were able to get him on a deal. So the Diamondbacks made a couple big moves. And I think what stands out probably, and I've tried to mention this enough, and you're going to hear it as we go through these ranks, that these are dynasty prospect ranks where I'm going to value players for future potential. So, someone did mention to me a while back of oh, hey, you should do ranks, just for this year. And I might end up doing kind of a list like a top 30 for 2018 and stuff like that. But it's your job and everyone's job to be able to decipher through these teams and figure out, what type of dynasty am I building?
You put a projected start date, which is what a lot of prospect sites do. It's not original, but it's good. You need that.
Yeah. So if you want, if a guy that's 17 or 18 years old, if a guy is 4 years away, that's off your list. Well, you can go through my prospect list and you can just cross the guy off. So Christian Robinson and Patino, if you're not in for the long haul, if you're not willing to wait 4 years, you don't take them. You move down the list. You go to Matt Tabor, you go to Jose Almonte or Christian Walker or something like that. You can move down the list, but if you're in a dynasty format and you're trying to build the best possible team for the future, I'm giving you the talent that I think that you should be trying to acquire. And that's why, some of my international prospects are a lot higher than other people. I mean, I might be even a little bit too aggressive on Patino, to be honest with you, because he's inside the top 400. But I think
his dad is going through all of those allegations.
They look nothing alike, Bogman. I promise you. They look nothing alike.
Okay.
Christian Robinson, though, big power too, but we can talk about them in a second. But the Diamondbacks, who came into last year, had a horrible minor league system by all accounts of it. We really looked at it and we were like,
this still isn't great, but it's
not
better
great
than it looked last year, right?
Anthony Banda was the number one prospect last year. But if you remember, the one piece of credit I got to give myself, and you did this show with me, you did this series with me last year, I was all about loving John Duplantier last year. I was like, this is my guy. This is probably my most aggressive player. And he has jumped up to number 1. And I have got 2 Arizona Diamondbacks inside my top 100 right now with another one chomping at the bit.
So, when we talk about impact for 2018, it's Banda and probably nobody else, right?
Ooh, that's a good call. You're probably right. I'm trying to look through Christian Walker. He got some at bats last year. Yeah, I would say there's outside of Banda, it's minimal. Taylor Clark could be another one. Taylor Clark is someone that the Diamondbacks really like. If they were to go make a move as far as trading some pitching away, Corbin has been rumored. If they didn't put Banda in, Taylor Clark would be another one of those guys. Clark last year with the 3.3 ERA was a 12-9 and 27 starts, got 145 innings pitched and struck out 138. So they like Clark, they like Banda. That's probably about it. It would take – I just don't see a scenario where any of these other top prospects could make a way up. The Diamondbacks made a concerted effort to take – they took a lot of college bats in the 2017 draft with Pavin Smith, Varsho, and Drew Ellis, but none of those guys are ready yet.
Right. I feel like Pavin Smith is kind of like he's Paul Goldschmidt insurance. You know what I mean? If Goldie decides to not re-sign, or if we just don't have the money to re-sign him, however it goes, he could play first.
It's a fair point. They're going to play – I mean, I said this when he got drafted, he's going to play left field. Like, they're going to work him at left field because their hope is they can get his bat in to the lineup with Goldschmidt. But you're 1,000% right. If they have an issue, they want to put Pavin Smith in there. I don't know if you saw it either, by the way. Did you see the thing where the viral video where Pavin Smith paid off the mortgage of his family and they were like crying? I mean, and he actually had to send a note out, and he's like, I really appreciated the attention. That's not what I wanted. Hopefully young people, want to take care of their parents and stuff, but let's look at 2018. Like, let's move on.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't, replica Super Bowl rings, but it is a nice game.
Yeah, it's a very good point. That's a little ITL shout out there.
What about value picks here? Because I know we don't have anybody inside the top 50 here for the Diamondbacks, so we only have 5 really here in the top 200. Who are we looking at for a value in dynasty drafts?
I would say maybe the player I might be most aggressive on this year, if you were new or you have a first-year player draft or you can get trades, is Dalton Varsho. That's a player that I think is maybe the best value. He's currently a catcher, but he's very, very versatile, and he might not finish as a catcher. Yeah, he's a little bit shorter. He's 5'10", 190. I could see him going to second. I could see him playing third base. Definitely third base, I think, is a high option. I think he's going to get some time in the outfield. They're going to move him all around here. At the end of the day, this might be one of those like minor league system. He is, like how Josh Donaldson was. He was always as a catcher, came up as a catcher, and then he ended up being, all-star third baseman type of thing. Varishau he's got a big bat. Jim Callis had said he had one of the favorite bats from the 2017 draft class. He said it on here. And Varishau didn't disappoint. 7 homers, 39 RBIs, hit .311 while stealing 7 bases in 193 at-bats. And that wasn't a rookie ball. He went to short A ball. So I'm aggressive on him. I think people should be as well. He's not at top 100, but he is chomping at the bit. He is my favorite value. I also think Jazz Chisholm is another one. Jasrado, I think, is how you say his first name. Let me make sure of that. Jasrado Chisholm.
Jazz.
Jazz. We call him Jazz.
Don't try it.
He was in King County last year, shortstop. He is. He didn't have necessarily a great season. His average kind of came back down, but I like his bat speed. He's a speed power type of combo. I don't know if the power is ever going to be significant or anything like that, but he could definitely be double digits on the power and the speed, and I think the average is going to kind of tick up a bit. He's a guy I would monitor. Don't be aggressive, but he's someone, if you're in the top 200, I might try to get, because I think 2018, he has the potential to probably break out. He might restart at A-ball, and that might be pretty good for him. So Varishau, and I'll throw in Jazz Chisholm.
What about sleepers for the Diamondbacks? Who is your, because you called Duplantier last year, so who is it going to be this season?
That's tough. I mean, I kind of like Drew Ellis, even though he had bad. Drew Ellis was Louisville with Brendan McKay, and he's got some good power, bad average last year. I kind of like Drew Ellis a lot. Matt Tabor was one of their top picks, 19-year-old. I think he could move up. And then there's a couple guys at the bottom. Gabriel Maciel. I'm probably saying his name wrong. He's interesting. And how about this one? Buddy Kennedy. Buddy Kennedy is the kid. If people remember, there was a thing that like ESPN did or MLB Network about this guy that became friends with Mike Trout. They were from the same like Jersey area or whatever, and they worked out together. That's Buddy Kennedy. Buddy Kennedy is like good buddies with Mike Trout. He actually physically kind of looks like him. I saw him out here in the fall league. Big stocky neck guy, decent bat speed, decent swing. He's a third baseman for them, and I think he could end up moving to the outfield. But I think Buddy Kennedy is somebody that people might start talking about. Hit .270 last year, no homers, some stolen bases, strikeouts. Like I said, they were a little bit too much. He was a little swing happy when I saw him, but I'll say Buddy Kennedy, Tabor, and if you want to look in the top 10, give me Drew Ellis. I think maybe he'll open a few eyes.
I like that thick neck. Is the comp that's I mean.
Well, no, he's also he's like that same stocky body. He's not as physical, like he does not quite as the physical specimen as Mike Trout, but he's got kind of like that. That like brick S-house type of look to him, but he's not like super, super tall or anything
thick,
like that.
With 2 C's, the THICC.
Yeah, exactly. Duplantier is going to be, I still love him, by the way. I mean, if that sits in your mind, number one, the one thing that...
Are you going to be pissed if we trade him away, though?
It depends for what, you know. If
If
the Diamondbacks got, as Diamondback fans, I say if the Diamondbacks went and did a trade and acquired Chris Archer, you know, and they had to trade a Duplantier, I'd be fine, you know. But I don't want to sell. You know what I would be pissed about? I would be pissed if the Diamondbacks sold a Duplantier for like a bullpen arm. If that's what they went and did, unless it was elite, obviously. But if they had a rental or a 2-year bullpen arm to trade Duplantier, I would be pissed. The dude won the ERA title in the minors last year. He was 12-3, 1.39 ERA, 165 strikeouts to 136 innings pitched. And he did do it. He's a little bit older. He did it at lower levels, which some people, that's where they'll kind of jump at him. But when he left Kane County, he went up to Visalia, and he was just as good. He was literally just as good at the next level up. So I don't know. I'm encouraged with him. His offerings are pretty good. He works the zone really well. He's got a repeatable delivery. I think this dude is like a number 3 starter in Major League Baseball. And I think for fantasy people, they would dig on him. But a lot of people don't like to touch starting pitching like after the top 100 in prospects. They would like to, go in other directions. But Duplantier, he's inside my top 100, and he would be a player that I would be targeting.
All right, I'll just keep asking questions, so we better move on to the next team.
Well, is there any? I mean, we can do a couple others if you got any others on here. I mean, Marcus Wilson. I just wanted to point out Marcus Wilson, another one. He had a big breakout year that, kind of 5-tooly that I'm really, really monitoring. If he builds off of what he did last year, this is a dude you should be targeting, because this is like Buxton type of, maybe 270 average with potential big power and potential big speed.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I seriously, I'll ask you every single guy here.